Cyberbullying can range from relatively harmless to truly threatening. This form of online harassment is a growing problem. So who's at risk? Well, we're joined now by Amanda Lenhart. She's with the Pew Internet and American Life Project. Amanda, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you just did a study, but before we get into the study, give our viewers a little sense of what exactly cyberbullying is and how it's different from the schoolyard bullying.
Well, cyberbullying is another way of talking about online harassment, and it can range from anything to having somebody forward an email that you had intended to be private, to actually receiving threatening messages or emails, somebody posting an embarrassing picture of you. In many ways, the options are endless, but it's using digital tools to humiliate, hurt, or embarrass someone.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the study. What did you find?
Well, we found that about a third of online teens have experienced some kind of online harassment or bullying. Girls, particularly older girls, are more likely to have experienced this than any other group. And we also found that teens who are really engaged in intense internet use, whether that's because they go online daily, or they create content online, or they use social networks, are more likely also to have experienced harassment.
And what are the dangers of this? Is this different than me just calling someone a name as a kid? Like, you know, kids sort of calling each other names or harassing each other at school. Obviously, that can be devastating emotionally, but once you get out of high school, you kind of get over it. How is this different? Well,
I think what's different about this is that it certainly does have analogs to offline bullying, psychological offline bullying, slam books, you know, rumors. What it really has is this opportunity to expand the reach of bullying. Not only is it that somebody's embarrassed you or said cruel things to you, but that 300 people or 1,000 people or even more people know about it, because it can be posted online, it can be shared very widely and very quickly.
And what age group are we seeing this in? Where is it growing? And you mentioned girls.
Particularly, we see it most often happen to older girls, 15 to 17. But it certainly is a factor and something that many teens between the ages of 12 and 17 that we interview had experienced.
And why do you think you're seeing it more in women than men?
Well, it may be more that because online bullying does bring the sort of offline psychological bullying into the digital space, because certainly you can't have a fist fight with somebody on the internet, that girls are often the perpetrators of more psychological bullying offline. Not always, but stereotypically. And so I think it's not that surprising that we would see that girls would be more of the victims of that online as well.
And down the line, what can the effects of the cyberbullying be?
Well, certainly I think there's psychological harm, reputational harm, depending on the nature of the bullying. If somebody's forwarded on something of yours or posted an embarrassing photo, those things are hard to get rid of. They can dog you and can follow you for the rest of your life, or your life online. And so, and you may have no control over that. And so I think that is one of the risks and potential long-term harms of this kind of bullying.
Right. I mean, if someone writes about you on the bathroom wall, obviously that wall can be painted over. In cyberspace, it's not at all the case.
Yes, and it can be very difficult to track it down. And certainly in some cases, we heard in some focus groups about teens who had photos taken of them where they weren't even aware the photos were being taken. The photos were then posted somewhere that they had no control over, and then they had negative experiences getting suspended from school, for instance, because of the posting of those photos. So it's even broader now with all kinds of digital material. You may not have the kind of privacy that you maybe expect to have.